Oh, Mr. Orlax, where have you been my whole life? Oh my god, we have the Masters of the Universe, Mysteries of Grayskull, which is a PowerCon exclusive. This set of accessories was made specifically for the Masters of the Universe Origins, so that you can add a little bit more to your Castle Grayskull. Look at this cover. This is so badass. Beware the Duel of Souls. This includes 3 different pieces. We have the Explorer Spacesuit, Ancient Cosmic Armor, Orlax Primaria, mysterious creature from the Duel of Souls, or what I like to call a tentacle monster. And we have the Spirit of Grayskull, manifestation of Castle Grayskull. This box is absolutely beautiful, and I hate to open it up. However, I am going to take these pieces out because I do want to have this as being a part of my Castle Grayskull. I do want to point out, if you look at the cover here, this isn't just artwork. This is actually printed out so you can feel the indentations in it. Also, on the inside cover, there's still even more artwork. They did a great job at this. Anyways, though, let's go ahead and open this baby up and take these figures out. Luckily, they did make this in a way so you can preserve the packaging at least a bit so that you can have these displayed, or if you want to put them back in. And here are the 3 pieces. First, let's look at the Spirit of Grayskull. If you're not aware of the Spirit of Grayskull, it first appeared in the first wave of mini-comics that came out from the He-Man comic books that were included in the figures back in the 1980s. It just kind of looked like this weird, smoky skull thing that kind of came out that talked to the heroic warriors. This piece is very basic in the sense that it doesn't really do anything. I do kind of find it funny that it has like these wobbly pieces here, almost like it's like, hey, look at me, everyone. I've seen a few complaints online that some people's figures have been ripped off or something to that effect. Luckily, I don't see anything wrong with my own. We luckily do have a connector piece on the very bottom here so that we can connect this to the Tower of Grayskull, which I'll do in just a second. The sculpting on this is fairly cool looking, and I am very happy with how this came out. There is no movement with this other than the wobbliness of this plastic. Otherwise, this is just a solid piece. It is glued on the bottom here. This does not swivel. Do not try to do that or you'll break it. Remember, Spirit of Grayskull is not to be confused with the Spirit of King Grayskull, a completely different entity altogether. Now, let's look at the tentacle of the Orlax. Now, I don't know if this is supposed to be just a tentacle or whether or not this is supposed to be coming out from the dungeons as if it's a fully realized Orlax. I'm not really sure. You could kind of put it like that if you choose to do that. If you're not aware, the Orlax made appearances in both the prequel comic book for Masters of the Universe Revelation and the actual cartoon itself. So it's kind of cool that they included it in this. You can see in the bottom here, this does connect directly to Castle Grayskull, which again, I'll show how that works as well in just a minute. Again, no real movement, but the top portion of the Orlax, the tentacles here, is fairly soft plastic, so it can be bendable a little bit. What I like about this tentacle is that it is bendable. You can bend it down in different ways, like so, and maybe, just maybe, you're going to have a figure or some other heroic person, maybe a villain or something like that, that's wrapped up in this tentacle. Like, oh no, look, the gay comic geek, he's been locked up. No, that's his worst nightmare. Or is it? So yeah, a lot of different possibilities depending on how you want to pose this guy with your castle, whether or not you want to put him inside or outside, although I may kind of keep him on the outside just for display purposes. The dungeon piece itself is basically the same color as Castle Grayskull, so it does blend in fairly nice to it. Beware the evil eye. Let's look at the spacesuit, which I have to admit, as a kid, we didn't get any spacesuit. We got a cardboard cutout that looked like a spacesuit. When I was a kid, though, I thought it was a robot, so finding out that it was a spacesuit years later was a huge thing for me. Basically, this is its own figure, or at least it gives the appearance of its own figure, being it's the same size and has the same articulation and some of the same body molds as the line itself. As you can see, it does have removable armor, although taking this off is going to be a bit of a pain. You can see underneath there, it's kind of got like yellow sculpt underneath it. Like the Origins line, it's got great articulation with it. Let me just kind of go through that real quickly. He's got movement in his head, arm movement that is a little bit impeded by his shoulder pieces, elbow movement, wrist movement, waist movement, upper leg movement, knee movement, shin movement, and ankle movement. The overall skull for him is really well done, and I'm glad that he was included in this pack. I don't know if it's just my figure or if other figures out there are similar, but for mine, the head pops off very easily. I keep putting it back on, but I don't know whether or not there's some kind of issue with mine, but I can seem to snap it on, and it comes right back off a few seconds later. But I guess since you can take his head off so incredibly easy like this, you can put on other characters' heads from the Origins line. Like, say, Stratos. Naked Stratos here. He wants to go out into space. You can just simply place his head on there. As so. Bada bing. Oh my god, he has no furry underwear like all the others. The three of these are very cool, and I know some people were a bit upset that in order to get them, it had to be through PowerCon, and it was only an exclusive set. But I do think that probably down the line, they may re-release these for other people to get them as well, too. It just seems as though that's been done for a lot of exclusives. Maybe the colors will be different, or something to that effect. Alright, so, let's put the spirit of Grayskull on top. Oh no. Connector piece. And snapped on. You can put them up to that effect right there, or if you want to, you can put them in the other tower as well. So let's open up Castle Grayskull and put in the space armor and the Orlax. Now, originally, we only had a cardboard cutout for the space armor, so this is a huge, huge improvement. You could have him standing to the side over here if you chose to do so. There is a peg that you can slip into his little slot right here, if I can get that in properly, kind of, sort of properly. I mean, it'll kind of do. Did a Castle Grayskull review recently, and I showed that there is where the trapdoor comes down, and it's like, oh my god, the monsters, oh my god. There's a little indentation piece right here, which I don't know if you can see. This can kind of slide in there. Kind of, sort of. It's not exactly locked in place. Alright, Geek, you're going to have to get out of this spot. And it sorta kinda slides in, not as properly right now. And there. It's not that secure. You can move it around and it goes right up against the drawbridge and stuff like that. It's cool the way it is, and I'm glad that this is included, although I do feel like maybe they could have made this like slightly smaller on this side here, just so it's a bit more symmetrical, and it looks like it fits a bit better. Here are the three pieces together. I do find it kind of cool that they're basically all on top of each other. First on the top of Castle Grayskull, then in the second level, and then down on the ground. Unfortunately, with the Orlax in place here, you're not able to close Castle Grayskull either. I mean, I kind of figured that was going to be the case, but still, it would have been nice had they had another connector on the bottom that maybe kind of like insert over here so it could close together. Hey, alright, so, final thoughts. I think these are incredibly cool. I like all three of them, and I'm glad that they gave us the option to get them. Unfortunately, they were a bit difficult to get on the PowerCon website. You had to be on at the right time, and it was tough. I know some people out there weren't able to get it. If you want to get them now, you're going to have to go on to eBay or some other third-party site and pay inflated prices, which totally sucks, but unfortunately, that's just what it is at this point. Anyways, though, thank you guys for joining me in this video. Be sure to check out my Patreon site, patreon.com/GeekComicGeek. You become a patron, you get to see extra pictures, videos, and photo shoots that I only show to patrons. Otherwise, check out my other social media and everything else out there like that too. Anyways, I'll join you guys in another video very soon. Peace, love, namaste, and I'll see you soon. Peace. I'm in love with a hero. I hope at some point we get a spirit of King Grayskull that's also included in the Origins line. It would fit really nicely here right next to the spirit.